When I was a senior in high school, my English teacher, Mrs. Mott, taught us advanced placement vocabulary. For example, she'd take the word histrionic, and she would define it for us first. Theatrical, dramatic, affected. And then she would say something like, for example, little ones, Adriana is histrionic. And everyone would go, yes, that's the word. Finally, we know what to call her. My response, theatrical protest, maybe a tantrum. A few years later, actually about 8 years later, I ran into a classmate in New York City, and she looked at me and she said, I still remember the definition of that word because of you. It helps to put a face to the name. Hi, my name's Adriana, Adri. I am histrionic. But I'm also a poet, and it is a poet's job to put a name to things, to take something ordinary and give it a metaphor or a line or an isolation and to make it more powerful. For example, I think of Dulce et Decorum Est, this poem by Wilfred Owen, where he takes what used to be the glory of war and renames it as a game played by old men. Or Federico Garcia Lorca, who took the night and named it green. Gwendolyn Brooks, who named cool. I think of County Cullen, who taught me the power of the N-word, or of John Updike, who forever gave me a phrase, the great scarf of birds. Robert Frost taught me that a winter's day was also the inner dome of heaven. It's a poet's job to take the world and call it for what it is, ugly, raw, beautiful, and in doing so, to bring it into being. For example, there was this dog bed that I used to pass on the highway. All the time. A dog bed on the highway, on the exit ramp. And I would say to myself, who does that? Who throws a dog bed on the highway? Like, what is this person even thinking? And it used to annoy me a lot. I would talk about it to all my friends a lot. I'd be like, yeah, what's with the dog bed? I'd be like, yeah, why is it there? This is what poets do. We obsess about little things. So finally, I decided, well, I'm going to write a poem about this dog bed. It is a metaphor for everything that is wrong with humanity. There's a system, people. And in writing this poem, I decided to tell this story about this woman whose dog just died. And she's on her way home. And she's thinking about her puppy and everything that dog meant to her. And as she's taking this exit, she rolls down the window and she just chucks this bed out. Because it hurts. Because it was hard to look at, because she just couldn't hold on anymore. And now she passes it too and sees it. It's a reminder of something that she lost. This is what poetry can do. It matters what you call things. It matters how you name them, how you see things. Now, I'm a stage poet. I stand on stage and I tell you stories about my life. Hi. My mom asks me if I write pretty poems. I hate to tell her that I don't. I use a lot of cuss words. I say shocking things that are taboo. I take old wounds that people should let heal, and I don't. I tear that scab off over and over again. And I do it because in telling these stories and exposing this ugly, this beautiful, we're adding to the larger story of what it means to be human. And when you recognize yourself in that moment, when the poet isolates an image or a story, it doesn't even have to rhyme, I swear. They're doing something for you, and they're giving you a way to name how you feel, who you are, what you are. Poetry is powerful this way. So now I'm going to do a poem for you. I'm going to take off my shoes, too. So this poem is called The Naming of Things. When I was 4 years old, I would often go from my bed to the room next door because the shadows scared me, and my brother would fight them for me. That one, he'd say, that one looks like a bent old tree. He's Mr. Tree. That one looks like He-Man. Obviously, that's Optimus Prime. I like naming things. I still do. I name characters in fictions that I'll never write. Henrietta, Cornelius, Tlacotaltepetl. I name clouds and stars. I love the names some already have. Sirius, Stratocumulus, Ursa, viruses and despots, revolutionaries and bacteria, Staphylococcus, Ebola, Idi Amin. The scientific names of extinct animals, Rufus cucullatus, that's the dodo bird. I love the name of streets and old men, Mellon Terrace, Humphrey McClintock. My lovers will freak when I name our potential children, as do strangers, colleagues, and people I meet in line at the post office. I have names for all my impossible offspring. If I had a baby with the state of Texas, I would name him Wesley. I think Wesley, Texas, has a great ring to it. My brother's not around anymore. I like to name the reasons why, fate and circumstance, but I name him loss instead. I've lost many things. I name that abandonment, carelessness, fear. I name long nights' loneliness and sad nights' pity. I name the bags under my eyes and the curve of my belly insecurity. I name myself aware and lazy and scared. I have taken these names and written them in an imaginary baptismal book that I wear around my neck, albatross. I have bathed each letter, circled it in holy water, and called myself the namer of things. I decided that the pages of my book look more like an etch-a-sketch than stone, that I can rename those suckers, that there's no need for bleak or downtrodden, that uncertainty can become promise, that abandonment is transition, that insecurity is simply an abundance of raw material from which I get to carve myself anew. I want to take my friends and rename them as life support machines, but that sounds cold and sterile, so I will name them mateys, because they mostly look like pirates. I want to take the space in my heart where loss lives and rename it memories. Call it the story of me. I want to take my heartaches and name them after hurricanes. This is Heartache Nimrod, level 5 idiot. I want to get mixed up in metaphor, to know it is a bridge, a muscle that links two ideas like me and you, and redefines them as us. I want to emerge resampled, recatalogued, revamped. My brother told me that names were powerful, were all we needed to fix what was wrong. So tonight, I rechristen myself Ambition. And I rename all of you, daydreamers and wishers and lovers and alive. If I had a baby with the future, I would name her Possibility. I would name her Adventure. I would name her after all of us. Thank you.